Silly.
Silly, you're silly. Press this one down too so it stays. Good job. I took a summer job this past summer within the public school system, and I worked with second and third graders. And I really grew from it. I enjoyed it. Here's a puppy dog. But I realized that I wanted to work with children younger than elementary. And that's when I started thinking, okay, I need to be in early childhood.
Ready? Go! 1, 2, 3.
When I had my son, I've stayed home with him until he started kindergarten, and then once he started kindergarten, I had the empty nest syndrome and started volunteering in his kindergarten class, and that's where this whole journey began. I was inspired and fulfilled working in the classroom with the children and the teachers, and realized that that was where I was meant to be.
Goat. So what rhymes with goat?
I graduated high school wanting to be a nurse.
Boat.
The week before graduation, I stopped by my elementary school and I handed out invitations to my graduation to all my previous teachers. And I stopped by my 5th grade teacher's room, and she had me help out with a few activities, and I just kind of fell in love with the kids then. And I was like, I think this is my calling for sure.
Put your hand on top of mine. Oh, look at all that spaghetti. Who has meatballs for the spaghetti?
I was previously in hospitality, and once I got pregnant with my first child, I switched over to early childhood simply because I didn't feel there was a lot of childcare options. And I wanted to stay home with my daughter. It was a really big motivator for me to change career paths. Just simply because I wanted to become a better mother.
I'm gonna call on the people who are sitting down crisscross applesauce. My family has a lot of family businesses, and that's what I did most of since I was 16. I was working in a lot of restaurants and stores, but I've always wanted to learn more about education, and the more I learn through in Blue Ridge is the more I want to learn.
Well, what I'd like to do is to do another observation in the classroom before we order these things. And let's see if we can find some things that would really engage them in that classroom. Yes. I was providing childcare for 5 children, including one of my own, in my home, and I realized that I maybe wasn't doing things quite as well as I could.
Here it comes, gonna make some music. I'm a mother of 8 children myself. So I knew all about nurturing and caring and, a little bit about educating them. But as far as development and how they developed and how they learned, their behaviors and things like that, that was what I wanted to learn.
So I decided that I was going to go to Blue Ridge and take a class.
And then the more that I got involved with it, and the more I could help the children, how I could become a better teacher, how I could serve my community. Wow, you're strong.
More learning happens before a child enters kindergarten in their first 2,000 days of life than at any other time in a life. And do you know that one?
Daniel.
Zay, yes.
So working with children is not easy. And you need to be well educated in knowing how to do it appropriately.
Having a teacher or a director or really anyone that works with that child that has that early childhood background is going to mean that that child should get a better start in life.
Hopefully those that go into education love children, love working with them, and want to make a difference in our future generation.
Did you see that? What is she doing?
Helping the dog.
Helping the dog. You think maybe he's sick? Yeah.
Well, students can actually begin in high school. They can take a variety of courses through Career and College Promise. Career and College Promise is a program that's set up so that students in high school can take college credits for free, and they can use those college credits toward their degree in high school.
And you could get a certificate in early childhood preschool certificate or the early childhood infant toddler certificate while you're still in high school.
so they can use those college credits to come to Blue Ridge and finish out their associate degree.
This is your evaluation, has the courses that you need to take in your program.
We offer 3 degrees. The first degree is early childhood education. Then we have a school-age arts track and a school-age science track. In those 2 school-age degrees, they are specifically designed for those who want to go on to a 4-year school in elementary education. Whereas the early childhood degree is specifically designed for those who want to immediately get out into the field and work in a child care or preschool or maybe be a teacher's assistant, something like that. But they can also, with the early childhood degree, go on to the 4-year school and major in a degree called Birth to Kindergarten. We have 4 certificates. We have the early childhood preschool certificate, we have the infant toddler certificate, we have the school-age certificate, and the early childhood administration certificate.
With this program at Blue Ridge, it's hands-on, it's very interactive, it's engaging, and it really sets the stage for having a career in the business almost immediately.
I realized early on that I really was benefiting, but more importantly, the children were benefiting from what I was learning. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn, and the further I wanted to go with it.
I want to get the bachelor's degree so I can be a teacher.
I would like to work a full year and get more full-time experience and then continue on for my bachelor's. Because the classes that I've taken at Blue Ridge, they can be transferred. We can use them for the next step.
There are several pathways that you can choose to continue your education once you leave here from Blue Ridge.
There's a number of articulation agreements in place across the state. Our articulation agreements are agreements that are in place between the community college and the 4-year university. They're an agreement that says that the university will take a certain number of credits.
I'm thinking about either going to Gardner-Webb or Mars Hill, possibly Appalachian. Not completely sure yet.
We work very closely with 4-year schools in order for your transition from Blue Ridge to a 4-year school to be an easy transition. And we work with them so closely that they are even telling us what courses we need to make sure we're offering in our program, and so that you are not taking courses that won't transfer.
My courses transferred. I got credit for the majority of what I had taken, if not all. I got good credit for everything that I had done. It was very effortless, seamless. I had no glitches whatsoever.
I'd heard a lot of horror stories about classes from any college not transferring over, or some that you thought was going to transfer and not. But for me, everything was fine.
Plan on transferring to Mars Hill University after I graduate in the spring.
I went on to UNCG, and it took me about 2.5 years. I graduated with a bachelor's degree.
My experience with UNCG is they take your entire associate's degree at Blue Ridge and they flop it into their 2+ program, it's called. All the classes fit right into their bachelor's degree, so you don't have to start from scratch and you don't have to worry about what classes transfer, what classes don't.
Everything so far is going to transfer really smoothly, even like the education classes and the general stuff is going to transfer.
The community college offers you an opportunity to get a degree, and it doesn't cost a lot of money.
It's probably less than 1/3 of the cost of a university degree.
And that was one of the reasons why I didn't go straight to Gardner-Webb, was money issues. And a month there costed a semester here.
Also, I think it was simpler for me biting it off in little pieces, and so attaining one goal at a time. So I did the associate's degree, then I went on to the bachelor's degree, and now I'm looking at the master's degree.
I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to go this route with the early childhood education, but when I started going into it, that's when I fell in love with it.
By reaching those milestones, I think made it something that allowed me to focus on it and really stay motivated.
Great thing about a 2-year school is you really get to be personal with all your professors and your colleagues, and you don't just feel like a number.
I see you, Hayden. I like to see you smile.
I would love to have my BK.
Birth to kindergarten, which is what we have in North Carolina. We have a licensure for birth to kindergarten.
Just being able to get my associate's degree was great, but to know that I can transfer on and get my BK without having to, I'm attending a university, but I'm not having to leave my family behind.
It doesn't make any sense to do anything else to me, especially in this area.
If someone is thinking that they want to go ahead and pursue a 4-year degree, when they even first come into our program here at Blue Ridge, I would really encourage them to decide ahead of time which school they really want to go to when they graduate from Blue Ridge. That way we can make sure that we are directing them and taking the right courses for that particular school, because each school kind of wants you to take certain courses.
When I started registering for classes here for education, me and my counselor at Gardner-Webb was comparing classes and seeing which one would transfer, and she gave me a long list of classes that actually did transfer from Blue Ridge to Gardner-Webb.
But it just opens a lot more avenues for you as it pertains to career paths. You know, you could be a director, you can own your own facility, you can be a lead teacher in a developmental day program. So it just gives you more options and better pay. Who can argue with that?
I was actually terrified about going back to school because I didn't want to take away from any time from my kids. They were my main focus, and that was what I loved about Blue Ridge's program. Was they took their classes serious. You were learning, but it was also very flexible. I could still be a mom. I could take classes in the evening, or I could take them online and still have the time with my kids throughout the day.
People at Blue Ridge have definitely steered me in the right direction and got me prepared for what I need to be doing once I get to Marshall.
And I feel like their program appreciates the early childhood professionals. We're not just babysitters.
Hey, it's turning brown.
You know why it's turning brown? Because we mixed all these colors, and when we mix all the colors, it makes brown. The more classes I took, the more excited I got. It kept me, instead of falling in a rut, it kept me with more of a positive outlook and excited about coming in.
So if you are interested in coming to Blue Ridge, the first thing you need to do is to apply. You can apply online to Blue Ridge, or you can also come here and apply in person.
And then see one of us, and we would advise them to the courses that they need to take or the direction where they want to go.
This industry is not for everyone, but for certain people you can see that it's a true love and it's a genuine, heartfelt experience.
I fell in love with being a teacher, being a role model for the students.
It did give me a lot of the ideas that I needed to confirm what I wanted to do as far as becoming a teacher. They gave me all the opportunities, all the information, all the tools necessary to make sure I'm making the right decision, and the affirmation that yes, you are, Michael, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And they don't have to do that, but they do.
So I graduated Blue Ridge Community College, and now I am fixing to graduate Western Carolina University in December with my bachelor degree in early childhood development.
And when I first started, I had no clue that I would end up where I am now. You know, like I said, when I first went in, I had intended to just take that credentials class, and Brenda and Kathy had me so pumped up. By the time I left that day, I knew that the sky was the limit and I was going to go further.
Can you count how many equal sides, edges, and corners a cube has?
My dad, he only went to maybe 2nd grade when he was in Mexico. And he was like, I always wanted you to have an education because that's something that nobody can take away from you. It's the best investment I can leave with you if you have an education.
We are a big part of these children's lives every day, and that's a big deal. I mean, that's pretty epic to me, to be able to change someone's life.
I put forth a lot of effort into it, but the rewards were just so worth it.
Vanessa Taylor Gillum, Early Childhood Education.
It was wonderful to walk across that stage and see my instructors there, you know, yay, you know, she made it. And
if you really just get in there and listen to what you're told and seek out the supports that are there, that it is easily attainable for anybody. So my biggest advice would be don't delay, just do it. Just do it.